I'm gonna jump back in time a bit on Sunday with something that was left out the previous episode. It's something you all saw eventually. It's a news report of a riot taking place outside a police station. It describes pretty much what happened. Shots were fired, and the assailants have not been caught. But what is weird is the fact that the whole chase with the cars and the warehouse, all that has been covered up in a sense. It's not public knowledge. Some people might refer to it on social media, but those comments are removed in a weird way. And then we jump to the present, where Alex, Naomi, and Vaughn are outside of Starbucks with Judith. And you see JK coming towards you on his bike. It seems he got the message after all, and now just arrived at the Starbucks. You have a note with an invitation from the king, sending you to an old Victorian building that has been turned into apartments and offices.
And the king grants us an audience and would like to meet all of us, as the message says.
Grants is a very interesting word to use. I think he demands it.
Right. That's polite kindred speak for demands. Or even Ventru speak, perhaps. So, yeah. We contacted Killjoy and he didn't respond. So he's in the wind, wherever it is he is. There's a little bit of a trepidation here on Alex's part, wondering if this has to do with the other thing that Killjoy did, with writing Blackstone's name on the wall.
He messaged you before going to Starbucks that he would be unavailable for a few hours. You don't know what he's doing, but he messaged you on the encrypted phones that.
Right.
So
okay.
For now, you don't have much reason to believe that anything happened to him yet.
Right.
Unless someone else wrote from the phone.
Right. Yeah. So, and that would be really fast. That would be a really speedy kind of reaction for Bradford to have.
Especially, it's only about 8-9 o'clock in the evening. You haven't been awake for many hours.
Right. And this all just kind of went down, and yesterday. The time's correct there. Yeah. And so I'm going to err on the side that perhaps this isn't an immediate and visceral reaction to his name being scrawled in blood on a wall, although that's not confirmed. And Alex is just going to turn to Judith and say, it's probably best if we make it an early night. If you want to do a late night shopping trip with, a couple of
Can I
our
go
friends.
clubbing?
You know what? Why not? Why not? And Alex is going to pick up the phone, and he's going to get on the phone with a couple of his.
She squeals a little and rubs her hands in excitement.
For some reason, I'm blanking out on the name of my personal assistant.
Security?
Security. Yeah.
I believe it's Mr. Harris.
Mr. Harris. That's what it was. Thank you, storyteller. So he's going to get on the phone with Mr. Harris, and he's going to say, "Yeah, Judith wants to go clubbing. You're on duty tonight for making sure that she has a good time. Nothing happens to her. She gets back safe.
It's
Any
fine.
questions?
I'll bring Steve and Ben to come along.
There you go. Yeah. And he's gonna wrap that up because he doesn't want Judith anywhere near Bradford at this time. Her being born at dusk, as it were. So it's not a good fit. And going to turn to the rest of his coterie and say, "Are we ready to do this, or do you all want to prepare in some way to meet the king, prince? I'm the king."
Ooh. I'm set. I don't know about you guys.
You are in a good mood. You're high as a kite. You just earned
That's
a bit of
right.
money. You're full on blood.
I'm feeling pretty good.
JK, how about you?
I'm prepared as well.
You
Naomi?
notice that once JK arrived, people are walking in a big circle around you. And not really paying you attention. It's like they're deliberately not looking at you.
Now, that's just JK, or is that all of us?
No, when JK arrived, it began to happen.
Oh, so you have that ability too. Bradford, that's something that happens around him. Kind of like moves through, a crowd of people, kind of like a shark with a fish that just kind of like, you see the schools of fish just kind of like part the way as sharks swim through. So, yeah, nice antisocial aura you got there.
Yeah, it's quite effective if you have to get through crowds and the like.
Indeed, yeah.
Naomi goes up to JK and gives him a hug.
He hugs her back.
No.
Are you
Naomi's good
waiting?
too, by the way.
Are you waiting for the car to arrive for Judith?
Yes. I want to make sure that she's going to be escorted safely. So I'm going to wait here for shouldn't take more than 10 or 15 minutes for that to happen. Yeah, I want to make sure that there's a clear transfer from Alex watching over her to security and making sure that she's taken care of in that regard.
Well, Mr. Harris heard clapping, so a limousine arrives
Nice.
for Judith. With inside the limousine, Mr. Harris is driving, but two very large men are sitting inside as well.
Nice. Alex is going to say, "Have a good time. Be good.
Yeah. See you later, Dad.
If
And
you get in
she
any
walks
trouble, text me."
She's quite keen on getting into the car and just waves and
Yeah.
gets inside with her new outfit and everything. And it's been a while since she
He's
was
good.
out. Her last club trip ended horribly, so
Yeah.
she's taking
Just
it
be a
well.
new experience. Yeah. He's going to look at Harris and go, "Nothing happens.
He nods.
Understand?" Yeah.
He points
Okay.
to the headset, the classic,
Yeah.
the...
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to text Josh and ask him if he got a message as well from Bradford.
You grab your phone, you realize, oh fuck, I never got his number, and then you get a text saying, "What's up?"
Go and text back. "Did you get a letter about a gathering tonight?"
No, King.
Okay.
Just says. Which confirms it probably Josh, because he's the only one calling you King at the moment.
Right, exactly. He's just gonna send back a K, and then, yeah. He's gonna turn around to his coterie and say, "It's just us tonight."
Mm.
Well, that could either be very good or it can be very bad.
Yep. That about
Just keep an
sums
eye
it
out.
up really
Keep an
well.
eye out
Vaughn.
on the exits.
Yeah. Take care of yourselves. I will do my best to figure out what this is about with Bradford, of course. You know,
Mm.
he probably just wants to establish his praxis. You know, as a new prince tends to want to do. I'm going to ask that you all, you know, at least pro forma, you know, do your best to go along with the
Customs.
measures here. Yeah, the customs. Yes, and we'll get through this just fine, right? No scorpions, Vaughn. Okay.
Oh, don't worry. I'll practice my curtsy.
Outstanding. We have an understanding then. Are we under the impression we're just going to have to go there on our own means of travel, or is there any indication that we are going to be escorted there?
It's just an address, a building.
Not even going to pick us up. All right.
Not here, anyways.
Yeah, not here. Okay. You know what? Just gonna I guess we'll just call a cab, right? I would prefer that rather than stealing a car. So.
There are plenty in London
Yeah.
at this hour.
Yeah. So he's just gonna like put his hands to his lips and whistle out for a cab.
During the ride, you can't help but feeling with you know what you know about the message to Killjoy, the IP address, the random man handing Alex a message like maybe you're being tested or you're on a scavenger hunt. But you arrive in front of the building. It's 4 stories tall. Some of the apartments look bigger. They're probably the offices. And there's a small narrow alley going around the building. And I would like Naomi and JK to roll a sense the unseen with I believe it's resolve. I don't know why I never remember the difference.
Do I have to do a rouse check first?
Hidden roll. Which auspics? Yeah, you can rouse. It's a success. You were apparently good with that. 2. JK, you want to reroll?
I'll go with that.
3 for Naomi. You want to reroll, or you leave it at 3?
Depends on how important this roll is.
That's up to you.
And then no, I'm
Alright.
gonna keep my.
Naomi,
Yes,
a trash can.
it's glowing.
No, in the alley. It's
Yeah.
not the trash can that's interesting. It's the cat-sized rat sitting on top of it, and it's invisible.
Okay.
And it's just looking at you, like it knows what you are, and it has a note in its mouth. No one else seems to see it, and it's just sitting there and looking at you guys at the moment.
Okay. So I look at everyone else and I kind of step back a bit, still facing them. Trying to sneak into this rat. I don't get too close, but I try to like take the note from its mouth gently,
So
gingerly.
you're starting to walk towards the alley.
Yes.
Yeah. All of you obviously sees this. She's having her face against you, the back against the building, and starts to inch her way to the alley. And once she gets there, the rat becomes visible because it starts moving, and you're quite shocked by the size of this rat.
Yeah.
And it has
Quite
a
unsettling.
note in its mouth. It looks at you, Naomi, and it feels like it's smiling flippantly at you, and
Okay.
just waiting for you to take the note.
Nice ratty smile.
Yeah, I was like, stay still, stay still. She tries to like grab at the note if she can. She doesn't even know if it's tangible.
It lets go when you grab
Yeah?
hold of the
Okay.
note.
I steal it back.
Out of
Sorry?
curiosity, is there any possibility for an insight roll to determine what's going on here?
I would suggest sense the beast perhaps instead.
Oh, sure. Okay. I can do that.
Is it right if I get in on that as well?
You can actually talk with it if you use feral whispers.
Do
Oh,
it, do it, do
yeah.
it, do it, do it, do it.
Do I have to rouse for that?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
You
Okay,
do.
I'm gonna do it. I'm going for it.
I think you can see it now because it unshadowed itself or something.
But you don't.
Ooh. So rousing. I don't get hungrier.
That's first or second. You don't have to. You don't have
Someone
to
write
do
that
a
down.
roll unless you want to command it. If you
Okay.
just want
okay.
to talk, then you can talk.
Hey, how are you?
Alex sends the beast. 1.
Yeah,
It's a rat.
it's all right.
It's not a normal rat. You can feel that. It's
Quite a
cool.
bit bigger than a normal rat.
It's cooled,
Yeah.
but you probably knew all that already.
Yeah.
Vaughn, what do you want to say?
He's like, hey, what's good? How are you?
You just hear from Vaughn. And it looks at you like it's surprised that you actually know how to speak. And it says, I'm doing good. You have food?
I don't know if I have food on me. I don't think I do. I'm
Naomi
sorry,
takes
little
one
friend.
of this Starbucks wafer cracker and just kind of like hands it to him.
Oh.
The one that looks like a seashell.
Oh, yes. Yeah, yep. Actually, I do. It's literally like I don't have a pen.
Yeah.
Slowly puts the
It
food in my hand.
stands
I actually
on the
do.
back legs and just snaps it from your hand if you let it. And
Yep.
then
Mhm.
unwraps
There
it
you go.
by itself.
Oh.
It's little rat hands.
It's quite smart, it seems.
Yep.
It
Can I-
says,
oh.
you're supposed to see the master.
Can I open the note?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's another address on Cannon
Lovely.
Street.
Okay.
Do you want to
Interesting.
ask it anything else, Vaughn?
How long have you been a servant of the master? If you don't mind me asking.
12 moons.
I got you. All right. Well, you have a good rest of your night, all right? And I give him a little scratch behind his little rat ear.
I'll see you later, it says, and jumps down the trash can and runs into the alley where it disappears from sight again. Naomi, you're the only ones who can see it's starting to scale a wall. A pipe, even.
That was one cool ass rat, he says to the rest of the coterie.
I wouldn't know. I wasn't able to.
All you heard was squeaking and sounds
Yeah.
between Vaughn
But I
and
I respect the skills. You know, and that's very helpful. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
both of you.
He
You
was
can
chill as
hardly
hell.
see them sometimes. You're just sitting there on top of trash cans. Sometimes you walk
Mhm.
right by them and not even notice. So yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to miss a cat rat.
Yeah, that's
Right.
why it has obfuscate.
Yeah. What's that note it gave you?
She looks it over, looks at the back, and then hands it basically to Alex anyways.
Oh, I see.
It's an address
So-
on Cannon Street.
Okay. So at this time, he's going to think, okay, this is all part of kind of an attempt to throw everything off. You know, he's going to say it's probably a good idea for us to blush if we haven't already.
Oh, you're all blushed.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
Unless you
Whistle.
don't want to be.
no. I think that's a good idea, judging from what we just came back from, the fact that we could walk in anywhere and there's particular devices that would detect whether we have the appropriate amount of body heat.
JK, can you give me a wits? No, yeah, wits and academics.
Okay.
to. You vaguely remember something with that address. It's just in the back of your mind. You can't remember where or when, but there's something familiar about Cannon Street for you. With 2 successes.
Shall we move on, or should we just stand here staring at the wall all day?
Alex whistles for another cab. We wouldn't want to use the same one. And soon enough, sticks his hand out and sees one coming down the street.
Do you want to Google the address like you usually do?
No, we're just gonna run with this for now. Alex is a little bit wary. Last night, was the culmination of their first major encounter with this organization that is constantly policing the city, and it took a lot to get Elaine out. And so he's going to be a little extra careful right now to not give any tips as to where their movements are or anything like that. Hence the blush, hence the not Googling. Just doesn't trust, either the technology that they have or the technology that's around them in the city right now. So we're going to go in blind, as it were, unless somebody else knows something. But I would assume that JK doesn't give any indication that he knows about this address at all. Yeah. So into the cab they go. Unrolls a little bit more of the wad of money he carries around.
You arrive at quite a tall building with, I can only describe it as with a shit ton of windows. And JK, now the bell rings in your head. This is the Bucklersbury building. You read up something about some English is failing me. Archaeological find. Thank you. Back in the 50s, you think. You can't remember what they found, but you remember something about that. It's quite a while ago, though. And
sarcophagus.
For anyone at home, I know the building is not standing in 2013, but it is in my world. It was torn down in 2010, I believe, in real life.
Boo.
Yeah, it's a tall, many roomed and windowed office building. It looks like built of concrete. Back in the 50s, there is a main entrance door, but you see a man standing at the corner of the building. He's wearing a completely black suit with a matching black shirt, sunglasses, and he has the typical agent headset. And he seems to look in your direction when you step out of the cab. He's not moving or anything like that. He's standing perfectly still. I mean, as still as humans can, but just standing there looking about 50 meters from you guys.
Sense the beast on him. 3 successes.
He's not hostile. He is wary, prepared.
Is there a beast in him?
No, nothing. Not anything supernatural.
Okay. Alex is going to walk up with the address, little note that the ghost rat provided. Ghostly rat, stealthy rat. It isn't actually a phantom rat that I'm aware of. And, hand the note to our man in black here.
He just takes it, looks at it, and hands it back to you and says, "If you would follow me, please." He walks around the building, and you're standing in front of a door with a keypad and an iris scanner. And he punches in a code, and scans his eye, and the doors open almost like an elevator door, like sealed doors coming apart.
I like it.
You expect a room, but it's not. It's the staircase leading into the dark. You see a bit of dim light from below. It's very dimly illuminated, and from what you can see, there's not real torches on the wall, but it's been made to look like real torches. You know those lights where there's a bit of air that makes a sort of a flickering flame.
Very nice.
He just gestures for you to walk down. He does not seem like he's going with you.
Should be extra careful.
Everybody ready?
Ready as we'll ever be.
Alex is going to do the slow walk down the hallway
Hell yeah.
with his coterie.
It
That's
echoes
right.
on the stone steps as you walk down. The slow echo through the hall. And you are greeted by a small room that opens up. Very high ceiling. And a huge wooden double door that seems nearly renovated.
Nice.
Push it open.
Gonna push it
into
open.
an even larger room, dome. It's a Mithraeum from the Roman era, and now the bells rings even once more. J.K. They found when they built this an old temple to Mithras here, and built on top of it. You walk into this Mithraeum that probably shouldn't be here, or at least no one has noticed. It's very old. There is not a lot of decorations or anything like that. It's lit with those electrical torches, and there's nothing there furniture-wise. It's just a big open space. At the end of the room, you see a man sitting on a stone throne. JK, you recognize him from your premonition. He is Hispanic of descent. His hair is back in a ponytail, short beard. He has a very, not wicked, but strict look on his face. He is, if you look at this code, he's the picture at the very bottom for my players. He has dark hair and brown eyes, obviously. You see slight hints of scars, burn marks, it seems, on his neck. He's wearing what looks like open priestly vestments without the collar. There's a chainmail beneath, and he has a huge broadsword in his hand that he wields like a scepter, with the tip standing on the floor. And he just looks at you all as you enter the room. Right next to him is a woman, a Nigerian woman. She's dressed in half combat clothes, but with a silk shirt or a very fancy decorated shirt like on top of it all. In the corner you see a pale, very classic British looking guy, raven black hair, blue eyes, shorter beard. His jaw is a bit broader than the king. And he's not paying you guys any attention. He's currently talking to some teenagers, it seems. And those are the people in the room at the moment. As you enter, the man sitting on the throne says, he does not have the hint of a Spanish accent, but something older and perhaps from that region. But it's not something that your ears have heard before. He just lets go of his sword for a moment, just sits at the throne and... Welcome, my friends. I hear you have been looking for me.
Okay. Can I make an occult roll to see if Alex recognizes as definably Mithras? or something very Mithras-like.
You've never met the guy before, but he's not emanating an aura that makes all of you go to your knees.
Okay, all right, okay.
He feels old, but more Bradford old and not Mithras old.
That's comforting.
The woman, Nigerian woman standing next to the king, she's looking at you very keenly and holding a dagger, a long dagger in each hand. Like she's never more than 1.5 meters away from him. And the British man, he still does not pay attention. He's currently having some very calm and quiet conversation with these teenagers.
Well, Alex is going to step forward and do a polite bow and say, well, good evening to you as well. Not quite who I was expecting to see tonight. With whom do we have the pleasure of speaking? I am myself, Alex Kairos, and these are my friends here, my coterie mates. And I do not believe we've had the pleasure before of meeting.
No, we heard you were looking for us. And he smiles and he seems to look behind you, but at someone who's not there. And says, my name is King Valesha, former Father Valesha, and former Inquisitor Valesha. I'm writing the name as well here.
Okay.
I recognize that name at all. Is there any way I might recognize that?
You can
as
do a politics and intelligence, I think.
Gonna rouse. That's a hunger game. All right.
How much hunger are you at?
Hunger 2.
That's fine. You just feel the pushing of the beast, but no voice.
Okay, so one moment. So this is intelligence and politics, did you say? Okay.
3?
Yeah.
You think he's one of the Heralds of the Sun.
Heralds of the Sun. Got it. Makes sense, being in a place like this.
Alex Kairos. He just
One and
says,
only.
and looks at the rest. Naomi Townsend, Vaughn Hampton, and I don't know how to pronounce your name. He looks at you, JK. Johan
Corbe.
Corbe. And the British man looks at him just for a second and smiles like, Jesus Christ, what are you doing? They seem friendly with each other, but he resumes his conversation with the teenagers. They look Indian of descent, dark-skinned, perhaps Pakistani.
If I may, when he says like Von Hampton, Von does a nice little curtsy at that moment.
Same with Naomi.
I'm glad you're paying me the proper respects. But fear not, I'm not Ventru. I'm not gonna chop your head off if you forget decorum.
Hey, hey, not all Ventru. Okay.
Oh no.
That remains to be seen.
Yeah.
So, I know you're looking for us. I just don't
We
know
are.
why. He stands up and he holds his sword like it's ready to strike, but just in one hand like a scepter. You hear the chainmail rattle. And he takes a few steps down from his throne and he walks toward you, Alex, because I assume you're in the front.
Yes.
He's very intimidating to look at, but you do not feel like he's about to strike you down. Simply, he's prepared for anything.
Yeah, and Alex is going to not betray any kind of intimidation on his part. He's not going to step back or defend himself or in
The
any way.
Nigerian woman is walking around all of you guys,
Yeah.
so she can get behind of you in case something happens.
Alex is going to very quickly look to the rest of his coterie, in a kind of be ready kind of way. And thinks to himself, oh yeah, I have one of these too. Someone who's very good with daggers. I think we're just fine. And he says, we have been looking for you. You are a person of interest to a venture in this city, one who is recently decided to declare praxis. You may be familiar with Mr. Blackstone.
He looks at the British man, and he turns and says, that's something the Camarilla do when they want to rule. And he just nods.
Yes, you should be familiar with that. Yeah, Camarilla have been around for quite some time. And it is in fact, as your friend says, something we do.
I have never associated with them other than when I have to kill them. They are no longer welcome according to our god.
According to who?
Our god, Mithras.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Well, that's news to us because the Camarilla have been here. In fact, if my history serves me correctly, had in fact established a terms of agreement with your, and he's going to pause for a moment, your god. Up until very recently when certain other organizations made living in London just a little bit more interesting for all of us. My understanding was there was a certain détente, as it were.
There
between-
was.
Yes.
Queen Anne was supposed to serve as seneschal, but she declared princedom when she thought Mithras dead, but of course you can't kill a god. We brought him back to his power. He's out there very much reclaiming all that has been lost since the 40s.
Wow.
You can see Naomi get increasingly irritated.
Harry, he looks at the British man. Harry, I believe you're better with history than I am. And he sighs even though he does not have air in his lungs. And he puts down the book he's holding and says, one moment, to the teenagers. Turns and walks slowly, not very bothered, towards you. Valerius tried to kill Mithras, and Queen Anne saw that as an opportunity and to claim the throne and lie to all his subjects. And when Mithras returned, he was not very happy with that. He's not happy with people usurping his throne. They can lead in his stead, but he felt like we needed a more direct approach this time. And I mean, Valencia is king, so we can have a prince, whatever you want to call yourselves. It's fine, but you're not in charge, and you won't be in charge. We can deal, we can find a solution, you can have a domain, but we all answer to the king, who answers to the god.
You speak for your god.
More than most people. But really it's our line of communication comes through Roger, who is the head of our church.
Where is he?
Somewhere in Edinburgh at the moment. I think they finally reclaimed it from all the Toreador scum.
Naomi looks like she's about to snap.
Could you send him word for me?
Roger?
Yes.
Regarding?
Albert Bancroft.
I'm not familiar with the name, but I'll pass it on.
Yeah, just tell him that he will be passing over soon.
I'm sure he'll know what that means. He looks at you. Yeah, he's like you. I see the resemblance.
Naomi looks at JK really creeped out.
Yeah, Alex is going to look back too.
It's
Is this something we should know about?
Mm.
You neglected
you
to
just-
share these details with us.
Why didn't he just call for you instead of all of us? And what
Oh.
are your dealings with Mithra worshippers?
Yeah,
JK and creepy shit. Damn.
right.
I never
AK,
would've
would you like to share a little bit more about this particular? Because we,
Harry
Yeah.
says, I
JK, you're hiding
simply
something."
meant they're both necromancers.
Mm.
I'm not stating that Harry is, that Johann is of his lineage. But it wouldn't surprise me. He's more than 1,000 years old, and when you get that to become that age, you have a few grandchildren lying around. I'm not even sure that he would be aware of it. How do you communicate? He looks at you, JK.
With Roger?
Do you do it through the shadows? With your sire, with your clan?
Not quite sure.
Young still, I see.
Well, in a manner, yes.
Harry seems genuinely friendly and honest, actually, compared to Valencia, who is just very mean looking, like a warrior king. You're not sure of any of the clans in here. You have a feeling that there are more people in here that people can see. Simply because of your senses. If you want
Yeah.
to, if any of you with sense the unseen wants to see anything, you can roll, but it's going to be difficulty 7.
Okay.
No thanks.
Why
A
not?
Resolve and Auspex.
prefer to know everybody that's in the room.
Valencia says it's a shame the other heralds couldn't be here tonight. And I believe you're missing someone too.
Well, we work with a number of people, and yes, certain people tonight are busy.
Well, you've been seen traveling around 5 people at most times.
Oh, you've been paying attention.
Oh, he looks over your shoulder again at the nothing and he says, someone has. 4 is not good enough, but you can reroll 3 of them and there's a chance of a crit.
Ooh.
Do I just click the pink square?
At the very top of the sheet, there's a button that says willpower reroll beneath the willpower,
okay.
and then it asks how many dice, and you just say 3.
Yep.
And cross off is soup.
Ah,
Unfortunately not. How much hunger you at? 1. Nah, the beast is quiet for now.
is it possible for Naomi to succeed at a cost here?
That was I'm thinking, but you hear the beast inside your mind, Naomi.
Okay.
There's someone here. I can see them. I can show them, but you'll owe me.
Okay.
I ask you as a player, do you agree to it?
Yes.
All right. Your vision becomes clearer, and behind you guys is a man. He's simply dressed in black clothes, hoodie, But the weird thing about him is he looks like a mummy from being bandaged all over his face beneath the hoodie. You can only see the yellow eyes from what's left. He looks like he has no nose from the shape. Probably not. He's just standing there, and when you see him, he noticed that you do. And he smiles. You feel like the bandage is folding in a way, very flippantly and very good job. Like, you get the feeling of he's the one who's been doing all these tests all along. You've just seen the spy master. And the king realizes it as well, and he just slow claps. Well done.
All that's going through her head, she's like, I gotta call Victor, I gotta call Victor.
The rest of you have no idea what. You just see Naomi looking at something, and the king reacting to it.
Naomi?
Yes.
He's gonna look back at the king and he's gonna be like, yes, she is very good. Yeah.
Quite good.
Yeah.
She can see him. And when he says that, he becomes visible to all of you. You see the man in the hoodie with the bandages and everything. Just waving his clawed fingers at you, like very flamboyant and flippant almost.
Can she go and try to touch him to see if he's like still not there? Or is he like tangible now?
No, he's there. Fully there. He was obfuscated before.
Oh, okay,
But
okay.
when you start to reach for him, he slowly takes your hand and you feel it. It's cold, it's slimy, it has boils on it. It's not
She's so
something
creeped
you
out.
want to touch for long.
Yep. Cool.
Alex is going to give him you're a credit to your clan, to the bandaged spy master.
He just nods. He says nothing.
Not
Hey, man,
good
congrats.
enough, of course, to hide from our, very skilled Tori
Yeah.
over here. But
Yeah,
Then he
It's-
says something. I wasn't trying that hard. In a very toneless voice.
Of course not.
With her still being creeped out, she looks at the king's like, what is this about? Like
Yeah, Alex is actually going to say, he's like, to brass tacks then.
You wanted to see me. What is it that you want?
Alex,
You're more than welcome to join, of course.
Don't think we will be today, but I think we could come to some terms of agreement and understanding between our organizations. I would first like to know how long you've been here in London.
London specifically?
Yeah.
Well, we slept for a while, but we were technically still here.
Were you
was
awake
it?
for everything that happened in the past year?
What was it, Henry? 1860, I believe we arrived. Is that correct? And Harry nods.
Good to know. Were you awake for everything that happened in the past year?
No, unfortunately, we were lost
You
during
missed out on that. Yeah.
Great War, I believe they called it.
Yeah, indeed.
Around the same time as when Mithras disappeared. How unfortunate that we weren't there, but everything's fixed.
Sometimes, people
Oh.
just disappear. Valacia, what are your goals or aims in this city? That's what I would like to know.
Well, order and establish our blood laws, our court, and make sure the Masquerade is not breached.
When you say establish your blood laws in your cult, what specifically do you mean in practice by that?
It's mostly similar to the Camarilla. I mean, they stole it from us, so it's kind of the same thing. We just have, let's say, expanded rules on how to punish people when they break it.
Let me be clearer. are you seeking to, how shall we say, control certain parts of the city?
All of it.
All of it. Yeah. See, I think we're going to have an issue in that regard because there are quite a number of kindred who are not members of the cult, and
They
of
will
course
still
the
serve.
Yeah, maybe
Well,
this is not the time to have this conversation. Not in front of them.
No, you know
it's-
what? I understand your position, but
You can have domain, but you're still gonna be under my rule. And he says something to Harry in Latin. Do any one of you speak it?
No.
He says,
Oh.
"What do you think we should, like, what should they do?" And Harry smiles. He thinks for a moment, and what about reclaiming Ireland, and then they can have domain? And Militia nods and says to you, "If you can retake all of Ireland, we will give you domain in London."
Seems way too on the fly. Who does that?
Reclaim Ireland from who exactly?
Mithras' enemies. He has not reclaimed all of Britain yet. And to help our god would be the highest honor you can receive. He is gracious, and he rewards those who serve him.
So, JK, what's your dealing with them?
I have none, much like with the Camarilla.
Okay, good to know. She gets a little bit more relaxed.
Alicia, this has all come as your terms here have all come as a surprise to us. And I'm sure you understand that there are members, for example, Prince Blackstone, that I need to report to and discuss matters with. This is quite you've essentially declared praxis for your blood god here, in your own way, for your cult. Rulership in common parlance. And
I'm following orders.
yeah, exactly. And so am I, in my own way. And so I'm feeling like I need to talk to my people to see what they'd be comfortable with, because I'm going to need to explain your position, and
I think you should talk with them and ask what happens to all the elders last year that said no to us. Because you can't ask them.
So creepy.
Yeah, I understand. Right. I get it. Right. I'm happy to do that. I will be happy to ask them what happens, and also
to hammer it in. I am Bruja. He looks at Harry. Banu Hakim. And over there we have a Nos. We're all trained in fighting. We were chosen by Mithras. We're more than 500 years old. So if you want to have fights, it's not gonna turn out good for you.
Yeah, let's not piss them off.
We always want to deal with people in a peaceful manner and try to accommodate their wishes. If you seek domain, as I said, we will grant it, but you will abide by our rules and not the Camarilla. We seek people as well. And you can even have position of power. You just have to go through the right initiations. Becoming a part of the god and his blood.
I would like to do a form of intimidation on Valencia. One that basically sends the message that Alex will not be pushed around by this particular Bruja and his, a lackey of his blood god, that he is not backing down from his position, that he will take the king's decree or terms back to the Camarilla for discussion, but he will not be intimidated or bullied into agreeing to anything today at all. So maybe composure, intimidation, or resolve, or something in that regard.
I would say either manipulation or composure.
Okay. Gonna go with composure. Gonna activate.
Before you do anything crazy, I'll let you know your difficulty.
Okay.
Are you using disciplines at all?
I am. I'm going to use Daunt. I will not be pushed around.
By this low clan scum.
I am Ventru.
Hear me roll.
Your difficulty is 6.
Okay. I am going to rouse, unless the rouse I did earlier carries over, but I think not. So here we go.
Success.
The beast sleeps. So that gives me 2 dice. Going to go with composure and intimidation, along with daunt, which gives me 2 extra dice. So 4 extra dice to my roll.
You got this.
I got this. That's right.
5.
5, and I'm going to roll a willpower,
Hell yeah. Yep.
7.
and that's 2 more, so that's 7.
I'm just thinking right now. I'm trying to find.
No worries.
7 is a lot. It's not a bad roll.
He will not be pushed around.
Well, you're looking into each other's eyes, and he actually takes a step back for a moment.
That's right.
But then his eyes narrows, and I want you to do a composure and resolve,
Okay.
because he's using dread gaze on you.
Okay. I'm going to rouse again. I need to win this. That's a success.
Charisma.
You got this, dude.
This is social combat.
Oh no.
Okay.
Totally a bad thing.
Oh, I see. Never mind.
4.
Yeah. And depending on what our person gets here or what I need, I'm ready to roll willpower if need be.
I think that's like this. 5 with a messy crit.
Gonna roll willpower.
Yeah. Bro, I'm not happy.
That's 1 more, so that's 5 on 5.
5 on 5. They are locked in a death stare to all of you, and all of you are actually stepping back from this. You can feel Alex's intimidation, his daunt against the dread gaze, and none of them are moving at the moment.
Cameras spin around.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd like to look at Valesha's partner and see what his reaction is at this moment.
He's closely watching him because he knows that shit is about to hit the fan. And you see the eyes go yellow on Valesha. He's not used to people standing up to him. And he bares his fangs. This is a Bruja after all.
So
KJ was here.
And you can see if he had any blood in him, his knuckles would whiten. He's holding his sword very tightly. And Harry just slowly puts a hand on his shoulder and says, "Let's just leave it for now." And he's just hearing none of it. Just they're having a stare off immediately. And I think we need to do another roll to figure out who wins this.
Okay.
who breaks it first?
I think both of you need to do composure and subterfuge.
Okay.
Just a flat one.
Okay. I'm gonna rouse again. Gonna keep on using that blood. Now's the time.
Hey.
That's a success. Composure and subterfuge. That's 5. He's not backing down.
7 with a crit.
Oh shit!
Ooh.
Well done.
Oh.
Alex,
Can I roll a willpower for this?
you can willpower.
Okay, I'm
can
going to.
willpower.
I got the willpower to spare. So,
All
all
right.
right, come on. No whammy.
You got this.
You still have 3 to roll.
Oh, it's only
Oh.
1. Okay,
6.
I lost that by 1. Okay.
You start to feel that dread creep into you.
Yeah.
And because
Yeah.
it's a crit, your knees
Yeah.
begin to shake.
Okay. Yeah. Try.
Seeing
out.
that, he stops immediately. He just wanted you to quake for a moment, so he does not push you to your knees in front of your subjects.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you get a stain because of your
Okay.
conviction.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna hurt you with any willpower damage for now, because you did well in this social combat. It was just,
Okay.
and you're standing in front of someone who has a few hundred years on you.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, dude, you
Yeah.
stared down a 500-year-old vampire. Dude. Oh, good shit.
But it seems like a brush of wind goes through the room, and everything becomes calmer for a moment. You don't even see maybe Naomi. You see the knees shake for just a moment, and then everything just stops and returns to normal. And Valencia says, "When you have talked to your people, come back. We're here. We're not hiding. And now you know where, what is it called? Elusia, right? Heralds. Where we are. You see the Nigerian woman. She was holding her dagger, ready to stab, but she relaxes. And realized perhaps that she should not be involved in this fight. And Valencia, he takes a few steps back and raises his arms, sword in one hand, just like the gesture of you have been dismissed. And Harry, he looks at you guys. You can't, Valencia can't see it, but it's just like he's mouthing, pow, just pow.
Because
Yeah. And he follows you out.
Yeah.
He seems to be the diplomatic of the ones in here. Very kind. I mean, he's dead looking, but you walk out of the room, if that's your intention, after a
Yeah.
small bow,
Yeah.
pretty much.
and says, Harry, he just smiles at the door and just says, "Don't worry, he's just Bruja. Do feel free to come back. I'm sure we can reach some sort of term or agreement.
I'm sure we can too.
We'll be
better
keeping
terms.
an eye on you. Or he will," and points at the Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Good to know.
I'm nothing if not honest.
Indeed. So it seems.
And he shuts the door in your faces, and you're left standing in the hall that leads to the stair.
Naomi looks to Alex and be like, "How's your ego?"
Alex,
Not
I gotta
even.
say, Alex, well done.
Thank
That was
you.
some
The rest of you were
Awesome
shit
shit,
scared
bro.
just by being near it, and Alex stood his ground.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I'll do better next time.
just up to a higher power, man. I mean, for different reasons than I would
Yeah.
do it, but still, I gotta hand it to you. Good on you.
He puts his hand on Vaughn's shoulder. He says, "Thank you. Appreciate that." And brushes off his other shoulder. Like, he's got some skills. It's okay.
Naomi is still annoyed, and she's like, "There's just too many cults."
Yeah. I agree.
too many.
I agree. We need to reduce the number. Yeah.
It depends on the cult. I've been in some pretty interesting communes, but that's a story for another day.
Is this
And
when you're
Alex-
human or vampire?
I had a pretty lame life until I became a kindred. So, but afterward, the '60s, good shit.
Good to know.
Okay.
There's a rat that you've seen before on the steps of the stair, just waving at you.
Are my
Weirdly.
feral whispers still up? Do I still have feral whispers?
I'll let you have it for that rat specifically.
Hell yeah! Thank you. Hey, what's up?
Scurries along the floor, and when it reaches you, Vaughn, it says, "Can you open the door? It's a bit heavy."
Sure. And then I actually pick him up, go over the door, and do I unlock? Is it locked? I'm assuming it's locked now. I'll have to knock.
No,
Oh.
just push it open a bit.
Yeah, then
It's
I
a
just,
heavy rat. It's quite fat.
I can see you eat well. And then I open the door
Mostly
and
other
then let him
rats.
scurry. Oh, gotta do what you gotta do. Am I right?
Cannibal rat.
And I let him in, and I close the door. And if the guy's like, what the fuck are you doing? Over the door again. I'm like, I point at the rat.
Oh, it's fine. It's let in. And you see
Alex
it.
is just going to narrow his eyes at the rat. Like, he's just right now. He's kind of internally pissed. He also felt the fear in the moment there, but his vampire beast is not pleased with this outcome, nor is his particular. He's got more to it than just being Ventru in this street fight here. So, he's not happy on multiple levels.
Yeah, this doesn't happen often.
Yeah, no.
Or
this
not
doesn't
at all.
happen. Yeah, or at all. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. This is not a Tuesday for Alex. So yeah, and he's a little put off by it, to put it politely. So Valacia has definitely been entered into his black book. Like, a guy has it coming to him. Like, nobody talks to Alex Kairos that way.
I think you probably hear the beast in your head saying, "A Bruja on a throne,"
Right. Yeah.
and you can
It's not-
feel the head shaking.
It's not done. Yeah. No. And a herald of the sun in the bargain, right? A cultist telling me what to do. No.
You can almost
You-
see the body language of someone having a conversation with themselves, but he's not saying anything out loud. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
he's sort of nodding and shaking his head, and like you have not seen Alex, I think,
Right.
this before. He's usually more composed and
Yeah.
like very much in charge and knows what's going on and what's going to happen. But
Yeah, he's usually cool in almost any situation. Like, nothing bothers him, and this is very clearly bothering him in a way that he can't even hide.
Yeah.
He's really not happy with it. And yeah, like I said, Valacia has something coming to him. Like, he's definitely not long for this world, if Alex has anything to say about it. So yeah, there may be multiple heads to this snake, but one is definitely getting lopped off when the first opportunity arises.
I imagine you leave in quiet as you ascend the stairs, unless someone wants to crack a joke on the way up. But you feel like, man, I was probably not the best time after the intense duel of fear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
May I just say something real quick? Just, it's not a slight retcon. When I pick up the rat and I try and say quietly, "I'd like to talk to your master at some point." Let him know. He can hit me up anytime. Well, almost anytime. He'll know.
He goes where he pleases.
All right. And then that's when I'd let him in.
Yeah.
And I try and keep it quietly while Alex is having his crisis.
Well, you only speak in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're, only,
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. Yes.
you're only
Okay.
squeaking, so.
Yeah.
Naomi looks to Alex and is like, well, if we had our joy killer around, I would have considered maybe putting up some sort of fight, but let's not fight when we're in someone else's domain.
You're right. You're right, Naomi.
That's a bad strategy on a king's part.
It is bad strategy and bad form.
I must break his spirit before I break his body.
That's right. That's right. That's right. It's bad form, and it's it's something we'll address. Very obviously, he hasn't been taught the proper.
He seemed more like
Manners.
a warrior
Yeah,
than a ruler.
typical Bruja. No idea about how to formally address his equals.
Yeah, my sour would had something to say about that.
Yeah. So
You're
that's okay.
outside the building, and Vaughn, something weird happens. In an alleyway, you see just like a dress disappearing around the corner. But the dress feels familiar. It's just for a moment. And all of you see Vaughn, but he usually has a vacant expression on his face, so you might not notice that anything weird is there. But you are keenly aware of something familiar.
What kind of what emotions does it conjure up?
Nostalgia.
Am I able to look into the alleyway, around real quick?
Just like turning. You just saw it out of the corner of your eyes, a dress turning around the corner. Just the bottom part of it. But the dress itself feels familiar to you. In a weird way.
Go follow it.
And you see Vaughn just sort of sits there for a second. And it does seem kind of like he's not sure what to do.
I imagine this is happening while Alex and Naomi are having a discussion about proper decorum and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And he's going to wander into the alley.
That's probably what disrupts your conversation. That Vaughn, he just starts to walk into an alley next to this huge building. You turn to just look around the corner, and you see a black-haired woman just from behind, and she turns another corner. Again, you have the feeling of nostalgia, and memories start to flow into you. Pleasant memories. Recollection. It's someone you haven't seen in a while, and you're not even sure you just saw her now. Because you know, of all people, that things can appear that are not really there.
And he's gonna look up, in the rooftops that are overlooking this alleyway, trying to take a look around to see if someone's maybe messing with him or something.
You can do a wits and awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you catch the scent of her perfume or something.
Are you guys just looking at this?
I'm keeping an eye out.
I want to turn and ask JK what his dealings with these cultists are.
So,
A 2.
I'm totally not paying attention to Vaughn at all.
you can't see anyone around. But you sort of look around, and when you turn your head back, right in front of you, just for a moment, like a ghost almost, you see your sire. And then she disappears into air, and lotus leaves. Lotus petal leaves, I would want to say, and you're the only one who seems to see it.
Do I have an indication it was in my mind or it was an illusion?
But to you, it's
Before.
very real. But it dissipates in front of you, so it has to be an illusion, you think to yourself. But who knows what she looks like other than you? You don't feel like it's anything you conjured. Perhaps it's just the drugs.
And he's just taken aback, and he's like looking around, and I think he would run towards the corner just real quick to like where she had disappeared around the corner, you said. I just like look around real quick, and
There's
it's kind of like
a trail of leaves slowly turning into fog. Nothing else.
so there's no trail. It's the trail like disappeared.
Yeah, but you see it disappearing as you look around again. It's just the petal leaves, but they turn into smoke and then dissipate completely.
Do I get the feeling that I'm supposed to follow them, and I need to do so with speed because as they're actively evaporating before my eyes? You're
not quite sure what's going on. It's not the same amount of dread, but you're reminded of a certain week where illusions went a bit crazy. And you weren't sure what was real and what was not, and who did it and who didn't.
To answer your question, Alex, I have no dealings with this cult. Just a person. That is all.
So Alex is going to get closer to him and speak in a real low tone of voice. So something terrible should happen to all of them, you wouldn't mind.
I wouldn't mind, no.
Good. He turns around, continues on his way back out to the street.
Okay, Vaughn?
And he's just stammering because the worst fear he ever had was when this very thing had happened. And it's worse than anything he's ever experienced.
Yeah.
And he's getting hints of it again, and he's starting to shut down, and it's frozen. And you've never seen Vaughn like this before.
Aw. She like grabs her hand and tries to comfort him.
And he like pulls back, and he's like terrified, like he doesn't recognize you for a few seconds, and his eyes flash.
Maybe she's not real.
Like a snake's. Yeah, and it flashed like a snake's. And I'd actually like to use Eyes of the Serpent on you.
Okay.
Because I'm using it reflexively. I don't think I've ever done this to somebody before.
Give her.
It's versus wits and composure. Wait, it says versus wits and composure. That's what. Let me go ahead and.
I think yours is charisma and.
Charisma and discipline.
Is Naomi into men?
Sure.
Well, this is a paralyzed. This is a paralysis effect.
It's just you get an extra die for being a handsome boy.
Oh, I forgot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Ah.
Oh, I didn't add the extra die. I didn't add the extra die.
Do you want to resist it or just let it happen, Naomi?
Well, she assumes that Vaughn is her friend, so she wouldn't need to put up a guard. So yeah, she lets it happen.
His eyes turn into those of a snake, and nothing weird happens. You're just entranced by him. You can't stop looking. You're quite beautiful and mesmerizing, actually.
Oh, wouldn't it trigger my my bane or something?
Not necessarily, but it holds people in place.
Okay.
And he just kind of like falls back and goes up against the wall, and he keeps the eye contact. But then once he realizes like an illusion wouldn't react the way that you just did, he drops it and he's like, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't need to do that.
Naomi is just stuck.
No, I drop it. Like my eyes
Oh,
go back
okay.
to normal.
Okay. I didn't know you could control it. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, let's not do that again.
Sorry.
That's okay.
And
But if you need to talk about it, feel free.
and then he looks down the alley. Are the petals gone? Like, are they all gone?
Nothing's there. It's like nothing was ever there. And you're not sure if it was. You don't know of anyone in London who can do what you can do. Especially someone who has seen her.
I think I need to be alone for a little while.
Okay. Well, you have the phone, so.
Mm-hmm. And then he's going to just take off down where the petals went and just go off in that direction. And just disappears into the night. Hands in his pockets, very holding himself closed in.
Yeah.
And
This is actually a good spot for a scene change, but I'm just gonna go through the rest of the table. And add one that maybe eventually you will find yourself on a rooftop, as you often do, pondering, and you're having a conversation with a little brown bat that wants
Yes.
payment for telling you, of course Nadine is fine. You're not quite sure still that it knows who Nadine is, but it's looking for food.
can I insight check this little bat? Like, are you fucking with me, little guy?
I think you would have to take it there, and that's probably the next thing you want to do. Like, just to make
I got
sure,
you.
because
I
it's hard
gotcha.
to read body language of a bat. And
That makes
intelligence.
sense.
But if you show her that this is Nadine, that's the one, then it would know.
Mhm.
Because it recognizes you.
Would you do a picture?
Yeah, I would yeah, I'd pull out like a little picture and on a cellular device I'm not supposed to have that you guys don't know about. And I show him a picture of her and I say, you know where, and I give kind of like a general, like what a bat would understand. You know when the moon is at a certain point of the night.
See that.
Oh, I got you.
I see with my ears.
Oh. And then I play like a voicemail. A woman who sounds like this, and the dumpster that outside of her apartment usually smells really bad. If you smell like it smells like onions. You know what onions smell like?
They're not insects.
Does she have an infestation?
I imagine you spent your night contemplating and spending some time with this bat, perhaps feeding it, making sure making sure it knows who Nadine is. What are the rest of you guys' intention before we jump to the next night? What are you gonna stick together? Are you gonna separate? What's the plan of action here?
Alex is going to make a few calls, or at least a particular call to Gabriel that he wants to set up a meeting the following night. He is also going to reach out to Adrian and invite her to the same meeting.
Mhm.
And he is going to turn to Naomi and says, I want to gather everyone together.
It'll be tricky because Vaughn just left.
Yeah. Well, right. And of course, I will send a text to him as well. But I want
Okay.
to gather everyone together. I'm speaking to you right now because I would like you to invite Victor to this a predetermined location as well tomorrow night to
Well, that's okay.
discuss.
I was already gonna call him.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay. And then I'm going to send a text or by whatever means I have available to Henry,
Mhm.
the Nosferatu, and tell him that there is a boon in order if he can set up a secure and secret location for us to meet.
I think I'm gonna have to play that out, but it's good to know.
Yeah. And with that done, he's going to basically tell JK and Naomi, and he's also going to send another text to Killjoy to direct them. Well, he says, he's actually talking to Naomi and JK. He's like, I would like us all to meet tomorrow night at this at a location. I'll send you the address when it's decided. It's very important. Very obviously, certain forces are moving against us as always, and I feel that this is the right time to move back, to take action of our own and make sure that we're ready to deal with them next time in a way that's better fitting for us than them. Because very clearly I'm not going to have another meeting like we just had with us on the back foot. That's not, we are better than this. So
Be better prepared.
yes, exactly. And better positioned. We met them on their ground in their house. That's fine, but next time will not be the same. And I would like you all to be there to make sure of that. So, so he says, I'll be in touch with the address. And get ready to, prepare yourselves for an important meeting tomorrow night. And,
You think this is going to be civil with the Bruja?
I'm sorry?
Do you think this is going to be ultimately civil with the Bruja?
I don't think so, because I think that these guys are lackeys ultimately.
Yes, they are.
Felicia can play being the king all he likes, but he's still serving a king of his own. And so, I don't think he represents his clan so much as he represents himself and his god.
Yep.
So
That's
yeah.
what I got as well.
Yeah. So I don't think that this is going to be a problem, but I'm sure our very own Bruja can clear that up. Our very own Bruja members, which I'm sure they will agree that they have no interest in serving Felicia or any other king.
Let's just hope there's more of us than it is them.
Well, yeah. But if there's not, we'll find a way to even the odds. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'm confident of that. That was us at our most unprepared and our weakest.
Yes.
I'm quite confident that next time we will not be in that same position. At least I don't intend to be. So, yeah. He's still pissed. He's still like seething.
Yeah, she's trying to dance around the conversation
Yeah.
and not really directly piss him off.
yeah. He's still seething. He's yeah. He says, because right now Alex is entirely focused on. He can't get past, what just happened. So, he's stuck on it a little bit. And he says,
When an immovable object meets an unstoppable force.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. And quite literally. And so with that, he says, I'm happy to, call transportation for the rest of you for the rest of the night, but I need to go and set things up for tomorrow night, if that's okay.
Yeah.
As I did with Vaughn, I'm gonna finish your night as well when you get home, Alex.
So
Um, You want to set up the thing with Gabriel,
yep,
and
Yep.
he will let Henry know that you're looking for him.
yeah. He's also going to send a message to Nira, letting her know, that he's ready to move on his primary objective here of, declaring or rising to power in the way that Valacia seems to think he has. Yeah.
Well, she read your letter, and
Yeah.
but when you get home, the first thing that greets you is when you're in the elevator, and
Yeah.
it's a mirrored elevator.
Yeah.
Letters in blood begin to appear.
Okay.
You've seen this before.
Okay.
It's just an address. It's a hotel, of all
Nice.
things. And it says beneath it, tomorrow, 8 p.m.
Got it.
And you enter your penthouse, and you are greeted with what I can only describe as a trashed house. It's not broken, it's just there's a lot of bottles on the floor. There are people sleeping on the couch. They seem like they have been... they're more than drunk. They're a bit exsanguinated.
Yeah.
And a drunk Judith walking around singing to herself because she's the only one still awake and full of blood. She seems to be having a good time.
Yeah.
Mr. Harris is there standing, and he greets you and he says,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, sir, we'll have this cleaned up. She has not done anything destructive or anything, but she brought a few people back for, I believe she called it food, but I don't know, it's probably teenage slang or something.
Harris, can you give us a few minutes? And he's going to gesture for him to leave the room.
Of course, sir. He walks out immediately.
He's going to approach Judith and
Hey!
just take a look. Yeah, just take a cursory look around. Is everybody else passed out?
Yeah. Sleeping it
Okay,
off.
all right. And so he's going to say, "Did you enjoy yourself tonight?"
Oh, very much so.
Okay.
I didn't know this could happen anymore, but once I started feeding on drunk people, sorry, it's a mess. But I'll clean it.
He's gonna like place his hand gently on her shoulders. He's like, "You were discreet, right?
Oh,
Do not let people see you."
They
right?
don't forget,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And with
That's
that,
why I brought
Alex,
them here.
Yeah. He says, in the future, and he's gonna lean in and whisper in her ear, "Let's not bring the food back with us." Yeah.
Okay, Dad.
She
starts walking to her room as she's feeling the sunrise as well in her.
Yeah,
in her
exactly. Before he does the next thing, he's going to feed on one of them, given that they're passed out and everything. Just take one hunger.
I believe you have to make a roll.
Okay.
Because of
You're also going to get intoxicated.
No, he's not planning on it.
They are not your
okay.
primary thing
They're
here.
not. Okay.
I believe it's just a willpower roll, difficulty 3 or something.
Okay.
I can't remember, but I don't think
I can bring that up right now.
It's harder than that because we've never encountered
I know,
this
right?
issue before.
Yeah. Real quick here. If you want your character to feed from anything, but you must spend a willpower points equal to the character's bane severity. So it's just spending a willpower, really. It's not even a willpower roll. It's just spending a willpower to do it.
Do you want to have someone shipped instead? Then I'll let you do a hunting roll if you prefer not to spend your willpower.
It's fine. I've only spent 3 willpower and I can heal 4. So
Next session.
Yes. Oh,
Not
per
next
session.
night.
Oh,
Next
oh
session.
okay.
So
Okay.
that's why I'm asking.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. Well, let's do that then. Yeah, so I can go ahead and have someone brought up for that. Have Harris, bring a lucky lottery winner up to,
An ongoing
as well
party
as
that's
yes, as well as escort these folks out, or send some people up to take them home, or sleep in a room somewhere. So yeah, so he's going to do that, and do you want me to make a roll for that, or
just do a hunting roll.
okay?
Just see if
Yeah.
if the beast shows its teeth.
Okay.
It's only difficulty 2. So.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
4.
There's 4.
4
successes.
You can get as many as you want.
Okay. So I'm going to reduce the hunger by 1. That's all he needs. And then for the final thing tonight, after that person is taken care of, he is going to do his best to go to his altar to the Dark Mother and confess his frustration and his self-loathing for backing down in front of a Herald of the Sun, and swears to be stronger next time, and that he will be taking measures to make sure that happens.
You feel the plants in your big room shaking in frustration.
Yeah.
You can hear the rattle of the leaves.
Yes.
Yeah. Very much in tune with your feelings. They're not killing anyone on the floor, but yeah.
Yeah. So, if you want, I'll roll my humanity unless you...
At the end of the session, it's fine.
Okay.
Naomi?
Yep.
What's your intention for the rest of the night?
I figured get back to my place. How much is the ritual of find of lost things?
Like people?
Well, I was gonna either use it on Victor or Victor's items that
I
if I can't do
believe
it, that's fine.
I don't think you're powerful enough yet.
Okay.
It's a
That's
level 2. If you're thinking, the one that comes to mind in my head is a Trail of Illuminate Prey, where you can locate people as long as you know what they look like.
Oh, that can I afford that? The points.
You don't have enough blood sorcery yet.
Okay.
Do you need?
Yeah, that's
you
fair.
would need training from Victor, but you do have his phone number.
Do I? Okay, I didn't know if I actually had his
The
number.
the
Yeah.
old school phone that called upstairs when you were there.
Yeah,
A
okay.
landline.
Sweet. Yeah, prepare to get contact with him. Tell him that about the meeting and
What do you tell him? He's very delighted to hear from you, and he says, "Oh, that saves me the trouble of sending you a message. We're all supposed to meet tomorrow at 8 and he gives you an address. It's a hotel.
Okay.
Bradford's orders.
Okay, that makes sense.
I've sent a message to the others.
Beautiful. Good to know. Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely love to hear from you, and I'm definitely considering your offer. We'll have to talk about it though.
Do you want me to come get you?
Preferably because portals, right?
And I don't have a door.
Yeah.
Or I can come to you if you prefer.
Yeah, you know where my location is. Meet me at the shop. That's plenty.
What about if I come a bit early tomorrow, before the meeting? We can
Wonderful.
talk there.
Yeah.
Fine. I'm a bit occupied with spelling out the messages quite literally on people's reflective surfaces. But it's good you called, and that saves me the trouble of sending you one.
Beautiful.
Anything else you want to do before dawn?
Would you like to top me up on that vampire blood again?
Oh, I can bring some tomorrow. Don't worry.
I'd love to share some with you.
Sounds delightful. I'm looking forward to it.
Too.
Good night, Miss Townsend, he says, and hangs up.
Awesome. Beautiful. Yeah, beyond that, no, takes care of her plants. She does text Killjoy and basically messages him and saying like, no, we gotta fight. We gotta fight of some sort. I don't know. She like kind of vents a bit in the text message as well. She's a bit scared, but more or less like just get prepared. We might even have to do some training. I don't know. I don't know what this is gonna entail. Um, yeah, message to JK too, being like, hope you got home well. Uh,
There's no answer from him, but it's not um, unconventional for him
yeah,
to
exactly.
be. He's quiet until he really starts to speak. JK, anything specifically you want to spend the rest of your night on?
He's gonna return to his haven and do some checkups, make sure that everything is in order.
As you return, I don't know where or when, but on a reflective surface you see the same message of the address and tomorrow 8 p.m. and it disappears as soon as you read it.
Okay. He's going to go over his history books and try to find more information, if he has any, on the whole Mithras cult thing, as he isn't properly caught up at the moment.
Anything specific you want to know? Or just general knowledge?
He's trying to find something about how it started and when. Like what circumstances led to there suddenly being a cult around a singular kindred.
I'll let you do it. Academics and intelligence roll.
Okay.
And what's your specialty in academics?
His specialty in academics is linguistics,
Okay.
I believe.
No, it's not gonna help you here.
Not bad.
6 with a crit. Mithras was to Kain, an Iranian god of the sun, justice, contracts, wars, and he was adapted by the Roman Empire. And you know that from this knowledge and what else you can find. I mean, most of it is Kain knowledge, but you can sort of piece it together. He's probably arrived here with the Roman Empire when they did back in the day. I can't remember the exact year. And has ruled it ever since. Maybe a bit absent. He's always had seneschals rule in his place. It seems like Mithras would rather spend his time on other things than ruling. But he also wants to be in charge officially. So as long as that's at least from your perspective, as long as he thinks he's in charge, then everything should be fine. The mistake that Queen Anne made was claiming praxis and saying, now I'm the leader, instead of just leading, if that makes sense. She couldn't just be satisfied with being seneschal, she had to be prince. And the Camarilla laws are adapted from his blood laws. Stolen, actually, basically. They're more evolved than the Camarilla tenets. They have varying degrees of punishment and infractions. If it's a minor infraction, you might just get a slap on the wrist, but if it's a major infraction of a certain law, then it's death or the banishment. Banishment seems to be the most prominent punishment, because when you're banished from God, that's the worst. You also read on specific rituals that has to do with like cutting bowls and having orgies and things that are very Roman, like fertility rites, things like that. He was a god of many things, and his religion is older than Christendom or Christianity. but obviously not worshipped by Kain anymore, and has not been for about 2,000 years. Is there anything else that comes to mind that you would like to know? It's quite a good role, so you...
Yeah.
More about the punishments and what is degreeable as an infraction towards their law.
You know what? I'll send you the blood laws of Mithras,
Lovely.
because going through it would be like a 20-minute episode in itself.
Fair.
But it's basically, for example, the first tradition, the Masquerade. Thou shalt not reveal thy nature to those not of the blood. Doing so shall renounce thy claims of the blood. Penalties: minor infraction, temporary lose status or temporary banishment. Medium infraction: forfeit all domain and banishment for life. Major infraction: blood hunt or final death. So it's things like that. Well, I'm gonna send you all of it.
Thank you.
You can go through it.
And once JK has done reading that, he's just going to make sure that everything is okay and that nobody has been inside his...
Well, no one has gotten past all the zombies.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I love that, by the way. The measure of like setting all the zombies there. That was great.
Anything else?
No, he's just going to read history until he falls off to sleep.
I imagine it's taking quite a while because it's quite a different book, and then you have to get dictionaries out and everything. Only Latin will only get you that far.
Yeah.
But that's... Oh, Vaughn. On a window
yes.
you pass at some point during the night, you get the same message written in blood. It appears immediately after you're reading it, but yeah. Tomorrow, 8 p.m, an address that you can quickly figure out is a hotel.
Make a note of it in my phone.